The casket is something extremely important to collect in this game, and you'll be able to tell if there's one near you by looking at this symbol on the map. If there's an arrow above it, then it is above you. Otherwise, if there's an arrow below, then it is under you. It is extremely important that you keep track of which one you have gotten by marking the map. You can turn these caskets into the relic merchant at the town to get some extremely important reward such as Raver, Rove Band. And so if you're ever missing any in the future, just cross-reference with a map online and you will be able to tell which one you're missing. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you many other tips to help you out starting in Wuthering Wave just in case this is your very first gacha game. So let's get into the next tip right away. Throughout the game, when you're opening chests or when you're solving puzzle, you obtain a currency called Astria. This is the premium currency and you should always be saving these. Astria is an extremely sacred currency and the general recommendation is always be saving these for the limited characters banner that you want. Do not ever make the mistake of buying the standard banner currency with your Astria. A lot of people make this mistake and ruin their account. This is really important. Speaking of the shop, if you head to bundle and then level gift pack, there are actually a bunch of free pack that give you a bunch of resources. And the only condition to get these is that you have to be a certain level. So this one is for level 40. And this one is for level 50. So make sure to come back to the shop and buy these as soon as you hit the requirement because these are just free resources. Don't forget to do your guidebook, obviously. You can find that right here and that include your daily quest that you should be trying to do every day. You don't have to do every single quest. Your only goal here is to hit 100 point, which you can just get by doing various missions like collecting anything or upgrading any weapon. Once you hit 100 point, you can just come back and claim the reward, and this is going to be your main source of Astria as well as Union EXP. Both those are really good, so be sure to do it every day. Moving to the second tab of the guidebook, you got your Drifting Inscrption. Now these quests are also really good to do early on because for the most part they're kind of tutorial quests, like just equip any characters with free echoes, and they give really good reward. Again, more Union EXP, or even other additional items. There are a total of 6 chapters with the last one rewarding you with a Rover Wave Band. So this is why you should really be making sure that you do your guidebook. A lot of these EXP is going to be massive in terms of getting you leveling up early for your Union level, and unlocking Union level is really important because it unlocks better reward. If you want to do max damage in this game, obviously you want to level all of your party members to max level, but I highly recommend you to just focus on leveling one of them first. Just pick one DPS that you like and focus on getting that characters to really strong. If you don't know who to pick, the main character's Rover is actually really strong. He is really efficient in terms of resources, and I'll highly recommend you just pick him. You will really want to focus all your resource in the early game onto one character just so he can carry you, and it could be any character that you like. If you like Tauchi, then go for it. The only exception to this could be either Baiji or Verena because these two are more like support character than DPS, and you really want to just level a DPS at the beginning of the game so that he can do damage. With your character level, just push that as high as possible, collecting the required material whenever you do need them, unless you can't upgrade. So here you can see I have reached my max level for now and I can't upgrade anymore, and that's okay, you can just upgrade it later. For your weapon, I'll highly recommend you to just find a attack scaling weapon in the very beginning of the early game. Very likely is that when you first start playing the game, you're only going to have blue weapon, and just look for one that have 2 attack line, right? So this one has attack here, and just click on this, level this up, and use this for now. This will carry your early game until you eventually get later better weapon like purple rank or yellow rank. Now something you'll notice is that each weapon has a secondary effect here. For example, for this weapon, every time you trigger a Concito effect, it will increase your attack by 5% for 5 seconds. You can actually rank this up by using the same weapon as material. So you hit upgrade, you hit the second tab here, and you can see that I'm able to upgrade this from rank 1 to rank 2 by using the exact same weapon in here. Now I actually recommend you don't do this, especially for weapons that are either the purple rank or especially the legendary rank, unless you know what you're doing, because sometimes it is better to have 2 copies of the same weapon than 1 copy of the rank 2 weapon, and they go up to rank 5, so you need 5 copies to max it out anyway. So don't do this unless you know what you're doing. The next thing you want to focus on is leveling up your character skills. Now, to level up your character skill, you just have to collect the corresponding material, and if you don't know where to find them, just click on it and it'll tell you where you can obtain it. So for example, this one, you can find it at this dungeon right here, right? It'll point you exactly to it, so that's all you need to do. Now, these cost energy to get. So for example, here you can see that I will need 40 of these wave plate energy to collect these material. And these are the thing I'll highly recommend you to spend your early game wave play on, just because you can get everything else like the leveling up material from playing the game naturally and opening chests. But these dungeon material you can only get if you spend energy. So I'll focus all your early game energy on weapon and skill material, and just focus on the one you need. So again, go to the character you're playing, click on the skill to see what they need, because every single character uses a different material. For example, Anchor uses this one instead. And once you have figured out what material you need, just simply click on where to obtain it and farm for it. Coming back to the same tab, you'll also notice something called the Resonance Chain, and you can unlock additional effect for your characters by unlocking their sequence node, which is done by collecting the character's waveband. Now, you don't have to worry about this when you're first starting out the game, but if you ever have any, then just go ahead and activate them. They're only used for unlocking sequence, and so if you have them, just use them. The last thing to talk about when it comes down to making your character stronger is, of course, obtaining echo for them. Whenever you come across a monster in Wuthering Wave, you should really kill it for the chances dropping a echo. Throughout this game, you're going to want to collect a copy of every single echo, because this is how you level your data bank, and it will allow you to gain access to legendary gear at the end of the game when you eventually hit level 15 data bank. Echo are basically a summon that you can equip on your characters, but in addition to that, they also act as gear because they give stats. So it's really important to get as many echo as possible to find a good one, and so my general recommendation is just kill every single thing you see. Commit genocide straight. Now, in order to level these up and get more stuff from them, you have to spend what's known as a EXP seal tube material. And I wouldn't really waste these resources on either the green level or the blue level echoes, just because you can outgrow them really fast. But starting from the purple one, that's when I will level them, just because it will take a long time before you can reach the gold color legendary one. So if you see a good purple one, things that have like attack on it on the first line, or a matching damage type on your first line. So if you're playing a electro character, try to look for a electro damage bonus on the first line, but you can use attack as well. Then it will be good enough to level for now. And again, make sure that the echo you're leveling up is going to be used by the main DPS of your choice. So if your main DPS of the choice is Rover, then level up the echoes that Rover can use, but don't level up like, the other element echo if you aren't going to put it on them. So my Rover doesn't do fusion damage, therefore don't level up the fusion damage bonus echo. If you're ever missing higher rarity material, mostly from dungeon, you can actually combine the lower rarity one to get them. So for example here, I can combine 3 of the purple rank core into one single legendary yellow rank core. And this will be really useful if you somehow have a lot of the lower level one, but you don't have any of the high level one, and you start out leveling to the point where you need the high level one. So keep in mind. Now, if you didn't know, every single characters in Wuthering Wave actually come with a tutorial stage, which you can enter by clicking on this icon at the bottom right. These tutorials are extremely helpful for first-time player because they completely showcase how the character is supposed to be played. The other thing that you should be collecting every single time you see it are going to be these ores. These ores are scattered throughout the entire map, and you're going to see a lot of them, and you will need a lot of these ores to later craft 4-star weapon available in the game, so you should be collecting them anytime you see one of these. There's a region completion percentage on each region on the map. You can see, for example, for this city, I have 9% completion, and it's entirely based on your completion of finding every single chest, doing every single puzzle, and stuff like that. But most importantly is that once you have done enough exploration, you can actually come back to the guild and get a secret reward. Exploring each region to a certain percent is going to give you EXP to level up your exploration level. And this is really important because it gives you really good reward like the loot mapper that will help you find any chest that you're missing later on. You can actually find this just right outside the main city located right here, and a lot of people don't know about this hidden reward, so make sure you tell them. You're gonna be coming across a lot of quests throughout this game, and you should be doing all of them because they give unit level EXP as well as Astria, which are really important. But the one you should be prioritizing first are called exploration quests, because these unlock the map. So even though I can just walk into this region called the Deep Forest, which is located at the bottom left of the map, you actually see I'm getting poisoned and I'm getting a debuff, and eventually this is either gonna kick me out of the map or I'm gonna die. The reason of this is because I haven't cleansed the area, and you do that by doing the corresponding quests. So for example, this one, when the forest is no longer dim. These quests will guide you through getting through the area and will cleanse the area, and then you can actually explore the area for real. So prioritize doing all of these exploration quests because they will be very important to actually get to the area. So when it comes down to exploring, you notice that there's a stamina bar. Now when you're running around outside of combat, it doesn't cost you any stamina, so you can run around as you like. But the thing here is that if you're ever climbing vertically, you'll drain your stamina really fast. Now a really big tips is that if you're ever trying to scale a really tall wall, you should be walking up to it and climbing the normal way like this instead, because this costs you a lot less stamina compared to wall running up. So here you can see it only costs me like about a bar, but if I was just wall running up, this costs me 2 bar instead. So if you're ever trying to scale a really tall wall, then making sure to prioritize your stamina is more important, and so you should just be climbing it the normal way. Now there's actually a cheese way to save your stamina, and that involves using the grapple hook. What you do is you press X, T, forward, and then grab. So you jump off, grapple hook, forward, and then grab. And you just sit here and wait until your grapple hook come up again, and then you do this. And you can see this costs very little stamina, right? So if I just do this again, so I can scale this really tall mountain, if there's a really tall mountain, using very little stamina. And you always want to make sure that you're saving your stamina, because if you run out of stamina while you're climbing, you're just gonna fall off. There are a couple of tabs in your character menu, specifically the tutorial and the trophy. These two you should click on because they give you Astria. So after you click on each one of these, you're gonna see that you're actually awarded with Astria. So that's really important. Just click on the tutorial. But most importantly, for the trophy, whenever you do reach a milestones, make sure to come into the trophy and claim your additional Astria. And again, these are premium currency that you should be focusing on getting. There are 2 weekly boss in this game that you should be doing. You can only choose one of them to do, and you can only claim the reward once per week. In general, this reset on Sunday, but the most important thing is that the difference between these 2 weekly boss is that they give different material. The Scar weekly boss give the unending destruction, while the other boss give the belt, and both of these are used for character skill upgrade. Make sure you check what material you need for your desired characters. So if your goal is to level up Rover, then you should be doing the Scar weekly bosses because that's the material he needs. If you've played other gacha game like Genshin Impact before, some of these tips might be really familiar, but this video is mostly aimed for beginner players who have never really played the game before. And there are potential that I am missing a lot of things just because I've been playing this game for way too long, and so there are things that I think are obvious when it's not. So feel free to drop your question in the comment below. In fact, it will really help me to understand like what do you guys really want to ask, and I'm going to try to make content on them as fast as possible. So leave your question in the comment below, and thanks for watching. Bye.